when you are dating someone and you are going on a first date, do you tell them your intentions straight up? Like, do you tell them what you're looking for? Do you say you're not looking for a relationship? Or if you are looking for a relationship, do you say that? Do you communicate that? Or what's your take on that?
Like, hey, I'm Walker, I'm 43, and I'm hoping to find the mother of my children.
I want to
No.
That date.
I don't think anyone does that. No.
Nobody does that.
Bruh.
My question?
As far as I know.
Hi, you guys. Welcome back to another episode of Best Friends with Benefits. I'm Kristen.
And I am Noni. Today, let me tell you, ladies and gentlemen, we are hooking you up with an amazing conversation. We have two really great guys on today's show, and we're going to get into the minds of guys and all the things about dating and commitment and all of those things. We're getting their perspectives. And I just want to do a disclaimer. This is not a us versus them, women versus men. This is a genuine conversation with some quality people, and we're going to have a lot of fun on today's episode. So let's say hello to Armando and Walker.
Hi, guys.
Hey, guys.
What's going on?
Okay, you guys definitely want to be watching the YouTube channel, you ladies out there, because these are hotties on here.
Love it.
Have you been drinking, Kristen? I have to ask that.
I gave up drinking. I'm sober as hell right now. I quit
You
drinking.
just high on life. Okay.
High on life.
That's awesome.
So tell me a little bit about you guys. What is your relationship status? What are you guys up to? So Armando, you go first.
Okay. I am a singer, actor. I love long walks on the beach.
Here we go.
Entrepreneur. I love to dabble in that. And I am currently taken.
Ooh, okay.
All right. We're going to get the secret to that a little bit later.
All right. Okay.
And Walker, how about you?
Good for you, Armando. Yeah, man. That's it. To verbalize that is a big step in a guy's life, right? So,
Right.
so my name's
To
Walker.
verbalize it publicly. Right.
Publicly, right?
Right.
It's like dirty looks from the ladies. I'm just kidding. I'm being funny.
She was giving a look. I was like, oh, that's interesting.
I'm just working, so I'm a business guy. I have a couple of different businesses. I actually own a funeral home, which is incredibly crazy, but my family's done that for a couple hundred years, and I purchased it 5 or 6 years ago. And then I run development and sales for a really cool company called Aura Lifestyle. We're a financial services provider based out of the UK. We make the world's only solid gold debit card. So we help guys do a lot of pretty unique financial transactions with a really cool card. So I'm just working most of the time. I'm single, occasionally dating, but single most.
Tell us about your show that you were just on.
Yeah, Walker, you're being really modest right now because some people that are watching the visuals might recognize you from
Labor of Love.
I'm Walker, and I'm a funeral director, and I don't want to die alone.
So
Yes.
I was on season 1 of Labor of Love. It was just aired this summer. And it was a great show about a girl who was looking to find love and hopefully a family. So I went on with 15 great guys and was not picked, but here I am.
Is it similar to The Bachelor? So like
Similar,
the
yeah.
same kind of
So Labor of Love is more family focused. So she really wanted to have a kid. It's about a girl who is actually 40 years old. So she's like, okay, look, I'm at the point where I've got to figure it out. And so it's really more about her. We're kind of like, background to her story, but it was really a great process. A lot of great guys who were pretty serious about life and had done some pretty great things. So it was a lot of fun to be a part of that group in season 1 for sure.
That's awesome. I need to be on season 2 because I'm 40 and I want to have So
40? Are you
get me up on the show. I'm going to be
Labor of
40
Love
in
producers, listen.
I thought you were like 25, so promise.
Please, you're such a liar.
Come on, Walker. So by you going on that show, then that kind of clues us into, you're on that show to potentially not hook up, but have a family and settle down. So that's kind of where you are right now in life.
Yeah, so I mean, to be fair, when the show found me, I didn't know it was that much focused on family. I mean, I thought it was more on the dating side. As we got there, we realized real quick she was serious about a family. However, I mean, with the right person, obviously, I'd love to, settle down and do the thing. So I thought it was a great opportunity. It was really interesting. I mean, when you're on a show like that, you're really introspective. So a lot of your time, you're spending days on weeks just with these other guys, like having like real conversations. And it wasn't as much drama, I think, as The Bachelor. It was much more, older demographic. So guys are, 35 to 45. They've kind of in their life. And we had some great conversations. I learned a lot about myself. I really did.
It takes some balls to be on a show like that.
It was interesting. They found me on Instagram and reached out, and I'm like, no, I don't have time for this. I'm not doing a dating show. And they were pretty persistent. And finally, I just talked to the show creator, and it was amazing. He was a really cool guy who's like had a true, like, really good purpose for wanting to do the show. And so I thought, I
just really acknowledge you for taking the leap and doing something like that. And even though you didn't win, you said, like, you learned a lot about yourself. So if you could just say in one sentence what you took away from that, what would it be?
I think just making sure that every time I go on a date or interact with someone, I'm just really who I am. Like, it's so easy to want to put a front on and be, a certain way. Even if you have nothing to prove, you still want to put your best foot forward. But I think just really trying to make an authentic connection. End of the day, relationships and dating are about authentic connections. And I think that, when we know when you have a vibe with someone or don't, right? With that first time you see them, it kind of hits you, right? Or not. And so I think letting that come through and just not being worried about being goofy. Look, when you're going to put yourself out there in front of the whole, TV viewing audience, you learn real quick. You're going to do some stupid stuff. You're going to say stupid things. However, if you just be yourself, it's going to come through.
Yes, be yourself.
Yeah.
Really, really great advice.
I was going to say that's hard to do, though, because sometimes, for most people, like, when the camera comes on, you think it's some people either put on a persona like right away and they can't help it because the camera's on. So they feel like they need to like be someone else, and then other people are just, just themselves. But
so there were some guys who you could tell when that camera came on, it's like, oh, hey, by the way, I'm ready to,
right.
I love kids. And then like when when they're not, in front of the camera, but when you're on a reality show, it's 24/7, your mic, the camera's rolling, there's no getting out of it. So
you kind of forget after a while, I can imagine.
The producers of reality, if they're good, they don't, it's not scripted at all, but they put you in situations where it's going to come to the forefront. So
definitely.
Yeah, I was on a reality show several years ago. I won't say how many, but I probably shouldn't say the show because
we're going to Google it, Armando.
But it was basically about it was about, creating a band.
Okay.
So it was like, being
I
part
remember
of
you
being
were on
part of
Making
the
the Band with Kitty.
Oh
He
my
was
God.
on Making the Band. Because I remember.
God.
Yes, I remember that.
Yeah.
He was on
Anyway,
Making
so I
the
got a little
Band.
taste of the reality show scene.
That's OG
And,
reality. I love
Yeah,
that.
I mean it's a lot different than what you experienced
Mhm.
because it has nothing to do with women
Right.
or relationships. I didn't particularly like the experience because it's I think it's a little political in a way, and the producers kind of know, I think, in my opinion, what they're looking for, and
who to play up and who not to.
Yeah.
Right.
And I also too at that time I wasn't somebody willing to kind of play up for the camera. You know what I mean? I was way more like reserved, a lot more of an introvert than an extrovert. So yeah, it just wasn't for me.
In reality,
But,
TV loves extroverts for sure.
It
For
sure
sure.
does.
So-
But maybe it would have been different if it was if it was about women. Maybe I would have
Never
been a whole different guy.
Listen, labor of love producers. I feel like you have two contestants on this.
Well, he's taken.
Right, I'm taking
Armando's
that.
Oh, that's
taken
right.
now.
That's right. So dating shows is over for you. So yes.
Pretty much.
Um,
yeah.
So let's get into this conversation about dating. I'd love to hear from each of you. And Armando, when you were looking and you were dating, what is your approach to dating? Are you an apps guy? Are you I get set up, or do you just let it happen naturally?
Well, for me, it usually happens organically and usually through friends. To be honest, I tried the app thing and I hated it.
Mm.
I was meeting people, which is, I mean, I didn't. Let me rephrase that. I wasn't meeting anyone. I met maybe like one person, but the people like I guess on like Tinder when you swipe left, swipe right. I was just kind of matching with people that I was like, yeah, I would never date you,
Mm.
and it was weird. I
would never date
don't know. It was what?
That's funny. I would never date you.
Sorry to say that, but like it was I don't know, it just wasn't for me.
And you mean
And for me,
personality-wise, Armando? Because if you match with someone, that means you swiped that you like them in some
yeah,
way.
I guess personality wise, and when we got to talking,
Personality-wise.
then
Okay.
yeah, but
Got
also
it.
too, I started being, and this is funny, but at first I was very selective, right? And then I wasn't getting any matches. And then I decided, all right, let me not be so, selective. Let me just let me release
Let
it
me
a little
swipe
bit.
them all right and see what
Yeah,
happens.
let me just swipe and see what happens.
What happened?
And so I started doing that, and I started getting just people I would never date. I
Yeah,
would never. And I was ultimately, it just ended up with me not. I had to delete all the apps. For me, I'd rather either meet people organically through friends or just on the street. I never approach women on the street. Like I never do. But if some guys are like that, they're very like outgoing and they're extroverted and they can like just approach women. I could never do that. I was always somebody like, unless she was like, for me, like just gorgeous, and I like there was just something that was compelling, and something that I had to like, I have to talk to this person, then I would do it. But I was just so uncomfortable even doing that. But I have dated a couple. Like I met someone at a Trader Joe's once. And she was looking at me, I was looking at her, and and that turned into a
Trader
a small
Joe's.
thing. Yeah, Trader Joe's, right.
Ladies,
But yeah,
go to Trader Joe's.
right, you never know who you're gonna
Find
find.
your man.
CVS, Rite Aid. Yeah. So for me, organic is the way to go.
Organic.
Cool.
All right.
So
What about you, Walker?
I had a long history of dating apps in my life. I've done the dating app thing for a long time, but I really prefer just to meet someone like randomly out and about. I think for me, dating apps I travel a lot for work, so dating apps have become like watching TV in an airport. So I'm sitting in an airport and like airport lounge. I'm just looking on the app, like swiping. You're never going to talk to 99.9% of the people you meet, right? And it's almost like I found myself, like, to be real, like getting almost addicted to the feeling of, did she like me back? And like, because she matched, I'm like, oh my gosh, she likes me back. I'm so cool. So finally I had this realization, I have a life coach I talk to like once a month. He's an amazing guy. And I'm like, man, I can't get, what's up with this? And so he's like, just get off the apps. So I like kind of just purge the apps for a couple of months. I think I am still on a dating app. I haven't really checked it out, but I think I'm probably still have accounts on dating apps, but I haven't been using them because
I matched with you on the league.
No, you did not. Not with me. There's no one. But I felt like that I didn't want to like just need that validation, right? So I think that apps have a place. Look, when you're new in a city or you're in a place where there's not a lot of, maybe a small town or something, it's great to be able to find people, but it's easy to get addicted to like that, that feeling of, oh my gosh, and just use it like for entertainment. It became an entertainment thing for me, right? So anyway.
That's so funny that you said that, because I'm reading this book. It's called How to Break Up with Your Phone. And they have this whole section on certain apps that are literally like slot machines.
Yeah.
That it's like an addiction that when you open it, like, you're going to get a reward, whether it's a match or a message or whatever, and it becomes an addiction. So it's really interesting that you said that.
It's
100%. It's a dopamine rush.
Yeah.
I also just deleted all my apps, so I get it.
But I think, I don't think apps are bad at all. I just think that it's all about where you're at personally, right? And how you're using it. So you have to be at a place where you really want a relationship. And if you don't, it's okay. Look, there's a time and a place for having fun and meeting people and whatever. I don't judge that. But
I will say, as far as dating apps, Instagram or Facebook are actually, you can consider those dating apps. I mean, because you can meet people. I've met people through there, but usually it's friends of friends, or like, maybe someone who's been following me, or or vice versa. You know what I mean? I think that's a great way to do it, because then at least you sort of been interacting,
Yeah.
depending on who the person is, you've kind of been interacting with each other, even if it's like a comment here, comment there, So
Yeah.
I think that's kind of a good way to,
Slide in the DMs, man. He's sliding the DMs.
Slide in the DMs.
Right, exactly.
Slide in the DMs. So that's so great that you guys are talking about apps and DMs and all that, because the next question is, what are some dating apps do's and don'ts? Like, what are you looking for on the apps?
I can tell you that my biggest pet peeve is when every picture is a group picture. Like if you're on a dating app, it's
But
like
guys do that too.
Thank you.
Yes.
and I'm like, well, who are you? Which one are you? Like,
Right, which
girls, all these pictures.
Which one are you?
makes no sense.
Scavenger hunt.
Makes no sense.
You got it. Which one do you like the best? That's which one I am. What else?
I mean, I haven't done it enough, so I can't really comment much.
But then wait, Armando, because you had a bad experience with apps, and like you're saying, these people are people I would never, or you were being too picky, and then you kind of loosen the reins on being picky. When you were being very picky, what was the criteria of who you were liking versus when you just started swiping everyone? Like, what stood out to you? It doesn't have to be bad. Like, what's a good thing that you're like, oh?
I mean, well, I mean, to be honest, if the picture's too provocative, in my opinion, it's like I feel like someone's sending the wrong message. But I also feel like that's kind of wrong to say, especially in this day and age where women are, being free and like trying to like own their power and all this stuff. So it's kind of, you don't want to judge somebody that way either. You know what I mean?
But it might not be a match for you.
Yeah. So
Right.
I guess my opinion of something will be a different guy's opinion of something, so the way I see it, I don't know. I mean, I feel like everybody, when they go on there, they're probably just looking for a good time initially.
Really?
You know what I mean?
Okay.
I think. I mean, it depends. It depends because it also depends on the apps, right? Because I think certain apps are more geared toward real relationships from people who are actually looking for relationships, and then some apps are geared more towards just, hey, I want to have a night out with you. You know what I mean?
Too many filters are my pet peeve too, right? Too many filters. So
Oh my God, that's the worst.
Talk
Because then you never know what they look like.
I want,
Okay, talk about it.
I don't want too many filters. You got to be somewhat real.
Right.
But one thing is funny. So I probably have 3 or 4 girls that are really close friends of mine who I never hooked up with, but I met on dating apps. We went out once and we never like romantically hit it off, but we have become like really legit friends, which is weird that can happen. But so I've had a pretty good, run at just in general meeting good people. So whether or not it works out romantically or not, that's a good
That's
thing.
really interesting.
Yeah.
And you might have a friend for them or something.
Yeah. Who knows?
So let's pretend, right? It's first date time. In your opinion, what is your go-to first date? I know some guys, they have strategy around it. Like, what would you say your first date go-to is?
What city am I in? Right, that's a big question.
You're in New York, let's say.
So New York, my go-to is always in New York. We're going like pre-pandemic, right? So like in a normal dating world. Let's forget COVID.
Ooh, that's a good point. Maybe one before and one.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's do one before and one after. I mean,
I would want to know that too.
One during, because we're still in it.
Yes.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Right.
I love going to I like going to dinner. So I like to meet at Catch in the bar for a couple of drinks. I love Catch. It's a great, the guys there, guys and girls are always so cool to like they work there. They do a great job. And then I'll stick around for dinner. If it's summer, we'll go rooftop, and then maybe go like post drink after dinner drink or whatever, and see what happens. So I'm a pretty basic old school dinner guy because I think it's good conversation. You get to spend a little time together, but.
So you're really investing in the first date, so that's good. Armando, what about you?
You got to eat, right? So what are you going to do?
You gotta eat.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
For me, I think I'm pretty much on the same page. A dinner, drink. But these days too, I mean, not these days, but like pre-pandemic, pre-relationship.
Right.
I'm down for like a cup of coffee, going to lunch. Like it doesn't always have to be at night. Like I prefer, like sometimes I'll prefer something just during the day. Because then, some women like, oh well, if we go out late, maybe they expect oh, maybe that something's going to happen afterwards. And I'm like, no, we don't even need to do all that. Why don't we just go out for a coffee or lunch and remove all of that out of the mind? You know what I mean? So I'm cool with that. Sometimes depending on the woman too, you know what I mean? Because depending how you feel, maybe you want to, maybe you think this person will like to go bowling. And so like, you know what? I feel like I could take a go bowling or ping pong. I feel like ping pong is a fun thing, to have fun, and then you can get conversation going after that. Maybe have a drink after, or so it just depends. But usually my go-to would be
walk around a park in the city, and it'd be fantastic. I mean, there's so many things to do, and there's so many options. So I was living in New York for the last couple of years until the pandemic. I'm back in Augusta, Georgia, where I'm from originally. And so it's different here, right? It's not like a massive walking city. It's like a real suburb, So you kind of have to plan more, right? Where the city I miss because you just, hey, meet me at the corner, whatever, and we'll just, you can find a little restaurant or find a little coffee shop or just take a walk or whatever.
And I asked that question because I did hear something about strategy behind first dates and I think this is more for women, but it might maybe some guys think about this. They don't want to commit to the whole dinner thing because then if you don't like them, it's like you got to sit down and then you wait for the waitress and then you order and then it's just like a really long. So now people have started to do more of like the coffee thing. I'll meet you in the afternoon. And if I don't like you on that first exchange,
be short.
So what do you guys think?
See, that's why I like meeting people most of the time through friends, because then there's times where I've hung out with them already, you know what I mean? Yeah. And then it's not uncomfortable because then you can be like, oh, cool. Hey, what are you doing? You want to just go grab something to eat, or you know what I mean? So it's more like when you meet someone on an app, then that becomes weird because you don't know them. You know what I mean?
That's
so
true.
It's like,
if I can't get to dinner, that's a pretty good telling. I mean, I can suck it up for like an hour and be like, okay, let's get out of here. See you, I'm out. But and I want to see how they treat the person who's bringing the food to the table, and
always looks for that.
Looking at stuff like that, I like seeing how are they reacting to people around them? Are they focused? I don't know. There's a million things you can look at. So
yeah. And listen, I'm all for paying for dinner on the first date, but. And it's expected sometimes, most of the time, that a man pays, right? And even in this day and age. However, I always looked for the woman to take out her wallet or be like, oh, so are we splitting this? Or
you want the gesture?
I love the gesture. So then I can at least say, no, don't worry about it. I got this. You know what I mean? I just feel like sometimes, and it's just in the demeanor too, because sometimes I feel like, women will, when it's time to pay, they'll just kind of look down. Or look around, it's just a weird thing that I've experienced. They'll just look around, just like they're expecting me to pay. You know what I mean? And listen, some women just expect that, and some women don't. For me, I like the gesture of oh, hey, don't expect. You know what I mean? Don't expect me to pay for you. I'm going to, but don't expect it. You know what I'm saying? I don't know.
What do you think, Walker?
No, look, I think it's always I love when someone offers to pay. I never let them pay ever, but I love when they offer. It makes me realize, hey, this person's thoughtful. They're not just the I don't know. The non-expectant attitude is amazing. So, doesn't always happen. That's kind of a rarity.
I like that.
All right, you hear him?
Even if it's not real.
Even if it's fake me out, ladies.
Right.
That is a gem right there. The non-expectant attitude. That is such a gem. So I hope everyone heard that. I love that.
Yeah.
So good.
It's funny though how it's just funny how you go through different dating cycles. When you're expecting different things, like when you really want a relationship, you're looking out for other things. You're more attentive to certain things. When you're just trying to hook up, it's a different thing.
Yeah.
It's really interesting to think back on the cycle of your dating and how you treated people or what, I don't know. Dating's a whole weird thing,
Yeah, I totally get that. So when you are dating someone and you are going on a first date, do you tell them your intentions straight up? Do you tell them what you're looking for? Do you say you're not looking for a relationship? Or if you are looking for a relationship, do you say that? Do you communicate that, or what's your take on that?
Like, hey, I'm Walker, I'm 43, and I'm hoping to find the mother of my children.
I want to put a baby.
No,
That date. No,
I don't think anyone does that. No,
Nobody does
Was
that.
that my question?
as far as I know.
That's so. Yeah, that's very interesting.
No, I mean, I think women are more prone to do that.
Very much.
Yeah. And only when they're really looking for something.
Right,
You know
right,
what I mean? If they're actually looking for something, they're tired of the dating scene and they want something serious, then I think they might just cut to the chase. You know what I mean? But pretty often, no one does that. I mean, everybody's just kind of winging it, you know, just trying to see where it goes.
Listen, I'm dating with a purpose, and I just want you to know. And I'm like, whoa, what? Like, this is a first date. Like, let's just relax.
Right.
Oh my gosh.
Organically, you know.
I love this as a single woman to hear this, because obviously I have been that person on the first date. I'm like, I'm 39 and I'm looking for a husband and I want to get married and I'm really ready for that. And I don't want to waste your time or my time. But now I really am getting present to. Well, but here's the thing. Dating is basically collecting evidence and doing an experiment. So you're like what Walker was saying, like, I want to see how the guy treats the waiter. I want to see how he acts in this, It's literally like being non-expectant, having like a conversation, being with that person and not literally expecting anything, like just getting to know somebody and be in that discovery process.
Right. No, I agree with that. Now with COVID, you're like, hey, by the way, I'm a responsible adult, but I'm looking for a physical relationship. Can we just get through the pandemic together? Possibly, maybe.
Can we get tested together? COVID test.
It's really gonna be great. There's a COVID test and other tests there.
Yeah. All the tests.
While we're getting the COVID test, we might as well get all the other.
By the way, there's like a 12-panel blood test or something. I don't know. I never heard of it.
One-stop shop.
If you're not doing anything,
we can quarantine for 14 days together. You know.
Right.
I think it's nice to like just have some organic interaction. So a first date, I mean, everyone's kind of done crazy stuff like that or been too forward or messed up. There's one girl who I regret there's one girl I think about who I'm like, God, I really wanted to date her and she didn't like me back. I took her out like 3 or 4 times. We had great dinners and she just never liked me back. And I don't know what the heck was wrong with me. Like, I still think on Instagram the other day, she liked a picture or something. And I'm like, geez, this is the one girl who just never liked me back, Wow. And I wonder, like, what would I like on those dates? Was I like, I don't know, what did I do? Like, what vibe was I not putting out? She kept going to dinner, so she liked nice dinners, but I was probably like 50 in after 3 dates, so it's pretty good.
Yeah, but listen, it might not have been anything that you were doing. It could have been something with her. Or
right.
If it's not a match, it's not a match. Sometimes it's good.
Did that make you like her more?
I don't not like her more. I was actually disappointed. Like, geez, like I really thought, I would hit it off with her, but who knows? I mean, I think if your personalities just don't line up, they just don't line up. I mean, it's kind of a natural vibe, but it's got to be both ways. So.
I love it. Well, this is the conversation that I wanted to have. It's so great just hearing from you guys firsthand, like what you're thinking. I'd love to know, this is not on the script, but when we're in the what are guys thinking versus like what do we think? Well, after you guys have a really amazing date with someone, let's say, or this could be hypothetical, like tell me why you think a guy would do this. As far as we're concerned, the date was amazing. You said, let's do this again, but then like the texting after that is very slow. Like you don't hear from them the next day. Maybe the woman reaches back and like, hey, and they're kind of hesitant. What does that usually mean in your opinion, or have you ever done that?
Yeah, I've done it a lot. I mean, like, and not on purpose. Like, I mean, so I think about this. I've been on some great dates with great women who I had every intention of like, I'd like to date her. And then, I went on 3 business trips back to back and I was gone for like 3 weeks. And, while I was gone, maybe some other girl was texting me who I'd never met before, but I met on a dating app. And so I started, I turned my attention there. Or maybe I just, I don't know, forgot. Like you sometimes can just unintentionally lose interest because life gets in the way. So I guess you got to when you feel that spark, you got to make sure and prioritize it. And I think the dating app thing has caused me heartache because when you have too many conversations going on one time, it's very hard to be focused. So if you can do that, like, I'm gonna date, I'm gonna go on a few first dates, but I'm not gonna be texting 15 girls at the same time. You know, like I've been in that position, and it's like it's like so taxing. What are you gonna? You gotta remember stuff. Who's what? But I mean, everyone does that, right? And if you really want to date someone, you've got to thin it out and go, look, I'm gonna give a couple girls a shot, go on a couple dates, and then narrow it down and make some choices. You know, like what do you have? What am I afraid of? I thought about this the other day. What do you have to lose by having a girlfriend? Like, give it a shot, right? If the girl's good, you like her, like, what do you really have to lose? In 3 months' time, you could say, you know what, it didn't work out, and you're in the same position you are right now. Like, what's the big issue with why is there like a fear? Because I am afraid sometimes to like, you know, like I'm gonna miss out. It's like fear of missing out.
Right. FOMO.
Yeah.
Armando?
Yeah, I was just gonna say, either you're too busy or you're just not that into her. You know, I think for the most part, you know, also where you are in life, you know what I mean? What you are putting first, you know, sometimes relationships are just not, you know, you're not there. And so everything is sort of fleeting for you. But I will say a lot of the time is because you're just not into the person, you know, because even if you are busy, even if you're not, you know, in your mind at that point in life to be in a relationship or take someone seriously, it's always that one person that you meet and you're like, oh my God, I never thought that I was ready for a relationship. And boom, you meet this person, like, I have to, because I'm just so into this person. You know what I mean? So I think for the most part, of like, if a guy doesn't text you back or, you know, it's kind of sporadic, then 9 times out of 10, he's probably just not into you. That's what I think.
Well, that's the real.
My
9
opinion.
times out of 10.
He might be into you, just not that into you.
Not that into you.
Like,
go ahead, Chris.
What is it that will keep you there and that will have you be interested and have you commit long term?
It's like biology, you know, like I honestly don't think you can't wear the right thing or say the right thing or do. It's just like the vibe is there or not. I mean, comes a point when you meet someone and you go, I want to give this a shot, or I'm so into this. And you're it's like a miracle because both your lives have to match up where you're in good headspace and you're ready to go and you can commit and you're truthful and all these things. It just has to it's like, you know,
just naturally, just organically. Yeah.
I love
and
that.
if you find yourself putting on just to please someone, then you're doing the wrong thing.
Right.
You know what I mean? You shouldn't have to be someone else to get the person you think you want. You know what I mean? Because then I think you're pretending. And eventually pretending is going to lead down a pretty bad road, I think.
Not the road.
You know, you're going to lose yourself. You know?
Right. Wow, you guys are deep, man. I appreciate it. So this leads to my next question. We had a guest on, Anthony Giles, Armando, who you know.
Oh yeah.
In it, he talks about the spectrum of emotions that guys, basically boys, are raised that is okay for them to express, and saying like the emotional vocabulary of men is different than women oftentimes because of the allowance of I'm just allowed to be mad. So, you know, to you it's reading mad, but I'm really hurt. And like women are 24 boxes of crayons and like men are 8. How would you guys respond to that? Like in your upbringing, did you find that, you know, you weren't allowed to express all of those emotions, and has that translated to how you deal with dating, or does that not relate to you?
I think girls are like 64 colors, the big triple box, you know, but so for me, I was allowed to. I don't think I was repressed like by my parents or surroundings. They were like encouraging of me expressing myself. I don't think I really knew how to. So my parents are great parents, but I still, like, you know, we we had really good, meaningful conversation, but they weren't like breaking down, hey, son, you feel this way because this. And I mean, they weren't like psychologists, you know? So it's helped me a lot in my life to find good coaches and good people to help me understand how to do that. Because I do think like you have to learn how to express yourself, right? And they're learned behaviors. Otherwise, you default to frustration or you default to whatever your default is. I find that way at work for myself, like in my work relationships. I default to like, you know, just saying the F word in my head 10,000 times, you know, because you get frustrated instead of like being able to sit back. You have to sit back and go, okay, why am I frustrated? What am I, you know, how do you relate to this? So I've had to seek out people to help me learn how to do that. And it's been the best thing I've ever done. I think now I'm much more prepared to be a successful partner than I was when I was like 25 or something.
That's great.
You gotta do the work. You gotta do the work.
Yes.
Yeah.
The work.
Armando.
I think not that they have a wider range, because I think we all have the same range, but I think women are more in tune with more and are more willing to freely express themselves in every way along that spectrum than men are. You know what I mean? I don't like to generalize, but you know, men tend to hold a wall in front of them, you know. And at times it can be tough for men, and I'll just speak for myself, you know, at times to convey what you feel and be real with how you feel. But I've gotten better over time. I've done therapy. I did therapy for years, you know, because I had a pretty crappy childhood, and so it affected my relationships with women for sure. I mean, even to this day in my relationship now, it's I see things, you know. But what's great about being in a relationship, because before this relationship, I wasn't in a relationship for about 5 or 6 years. You know, I dated, but and at that point you think, oh man, I'm in a real good place. I'm perfect now. I'm good. You know, all that stuff that I thought I was so bad at, you know, I've overcome all that. Right. And then you get into a relationship, all that shit comes right back. You know what I mean? And then you're faced with you again, you know, all these things that you thought were gone. They were just hibernating, you know? So I think, just to answer your question, I think over time, initially it was really hard for me to express myself in my early 20s and as a teenager and just in relationships initially. But now I think I'm a bit more expressive, but I still have more work to do, you know, when it, I guess with anger and just like, you know, I lose my cool pretty quickly, you know, and just admitting when you're wrong. I think that's a big thing, you know, like, especially at the height of an argument or at the height of things, you know, just saying, okay, you're right, I'm wrong. You know what I mean? Like, that's the hardest thing to do. And I think it takes courage to do that. But I end up doing that a little bit later on when everything's kind of cooled down, you know?
Of course.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I know I said a lot of stuff there, but
that's great. And
yeah.
I just want to ask a question to piggyback on that, because I just think that is so great what you said about how you were single for a while and you're at 5 years, like, I'm good now, I'm ready for a relationship. And then you get into a relationship and all this stuff comes up. So, because I've heard this analogy before, Kristen's quotes, that in a relationship, it's like raw diamond rubbing up against raw diamond. And like you guys like rough it out to get the shiny diamond. Like that sometimes when you're in a relationship, it actually brings up all of the stuff to deal with yourself. So my question for you is, do you find that you're discovering more about yourself now that you're in a relationship? Yeah.
Sure. Yeah. Because it's always in your face. Like people are literally mirrors of yourself. You know? And so everyone we meet is a mirror, I think. They show you a part of yourself in some way. The person you're dating or in a relationship with or married to, they're a constant mirror. So that mirror is like, boom, in your face at all times. So you're going to always see your reflection, and you're not always going to like what you see, but it's an opportunity for you to grow from that. It's either you fall more into that thing, whatever that thing is, or you use it as an opportunity to be like, oh, okay, cool. this thing doesn't work for me. I need to make a switch somewhere in here and do something different, or I'm going to keep getting this result. You know what I mean? Whether it's an argument about something or whatever it is, that's not working in your relationship. And
So
also
great.
having the one relationship to see how all your past relationships, like where the patterns were, because if you're now in a current relationship and you recognize things that you did in the past, then maybe this is something you need to work on because it keeps showing up.
Yeah.
I'm getting a little deep into things, but
that was great.
Listen,
Yeah.
I'm loving this. That reminds me of something I said on a past episode, just in making relationships work. And do I love this person more than I love being right? Because we know that being right is like a drug. It's just like, that is
Yeah.
just like,
Yeah.
in my heart, I feel like I'm right. But if it is messing with this person, or it's a trigger for them, or it's whatever, like, is me proving that I'm right more important than how much I love this person and how much I want to make this work? So I think if you are in the relationship, and like you said, and having patterns in past relationships, and this is something that keeps showing up, but then you just meet that right person that you will break the cycle for, because they are the
Right.
one for you.
Right. Or they'll get you to a certain place in life and then you'll move on having sort of polished or I don't want to say fix, because I don't like the word fix, because there's nothing wrong with us. You know what I mean? Like there's nothing wrong with us. We are who we are, but sometimes when sometimes things that just don't work for you in your life, like how you're being, doesn't work for you. So if there's certain things that you want, a certain person that you want, you'll never get it because you're being a certain way, and so it's not in line with the things that you want, with the desires that you want, so yeah.
Come on, Jam.
All right. Walker, what do you have to say about that?
Yeah, no, I agree, man. It's deep. I'm like thinking. I'm like, my mind's going.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
So we're going to switch gears a little bit. We're going to play a game. All right.
Okay.
This is a fun little game here, right? So Miss Chris, she deleted her apps, but before she did that, she has some pickup lines, or like just engaging conversations. The first line that they've said to her in her DMs. As we mentioned earlier in the show, some guys are in these apps just, to hook up. Some guys are in there to find someone, maybe. So we're going to play Forever Your Man or One Night Stand. She's going to read the line, and you guys say that's somebody that's trying to be forever her man, or somebody that's trying to be a one night stand. Kristen, what is the first one?
Okay.
You guys ready for this?
Ready.
Yep.
Hi. You have nice eyebrows.
Walker.
Oh man.
Starting out with a compliment for the eyebrows.
Good for him. Gee, that's a weird one. I would say,
Weird.
I would say he's got to be forever your man.
Come on now.
Okay.
Armando.
I should answer you then.
So it's either or, right? Forever your man or just trying to sleep.
Yeah, you got to pick one or the other. What is your guess?
Okay, forever your man.
Come on, eyebrows. Kristen, hit the dude up.
Okay.
All right, what's the next one?
Hi. I'd like to be an alpha in the real world and be dominated in bed.
I mean,
That's pretty
standard.
Did you say that's standard?
That's a one night stand.
One night stand.
One night stand.
Yeah,
Armando.
one night stand. Yes, one night stand. Yes.
He agreed.
Ooh, wait. All right, one more. Kristen.
I could do this all night. This is so funny. Absolutely 100% we need to meet. Sparks.
Yeah, one night stand.
You said one night stand?
Yeah, okay.
Armando?
That's a tough one. I would say forever your man.
Oh, we got a split on the last one.
Whoa.
Yeah. Okay.
Hey, sorry for the 3 a.m. message. I'm at work, not a weirdo. What's up?
I mean,
One night stand.
it could just be a really goofy guy who's, doesn't know what to say and is sitting at work bored. I don't know.
Okay, so that's forever my man?
I'd say for every man, yeah.
I'm gonna say one night stand.
Here's another one.
It's split.
I'm a coffee junkie! Exclamation point.
That's all he said? The first thing he said?
That's it?
Armando's face.
That's just delete. Just delete. Fine.
Yeah, right.
Neither.
Neither, right.
Oh my god, this is so funny. Okay, ready? Would you be my inside friend?
Inside.
One night stand.
What
One
does
night
that
stand.
Yeah.
You don't know what that means?
Would you be my inside friend?
Does that
Say it
mean like
again.
behind
Say it
closed
I
again.
don't want
doors?
to be obvious.
That's
People
pretty
have to
obvious.
be more
Come on,
clever
if you
than
make it-
that. Can
No,
you
if
be
you
my
say that-
inside friend?
Yeah, that's weird. I'm gonna say one night
Okay,
stand.
here's another one. Hi, Kristen. Your photos are stunning with the eyeballs. Looks like you travel often. Where's your next destination?
I'm going to say forever your man. Like, respectable.
Potential.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wherever your man.
I have
Trying to get your
P.S.
interest.
haven't answered any of these guys.
Uh-huh. Well, you need to hit up eyebrows.
Hit up eyebrows. Yeah.
I would hit up the travel dude. I mean, he's trying to get your interest at the same time as paying you a
Right.
compliment. So guys,
Yeah.
before we go, this was a really great conversation. We went
This was
really
awesome.
long, but it was so good. For all the ladies that are listening right now, and they're single and they want to meet a good quality guy, we give plenty of dating advice. I would love to hear from you guys. Like, what would you say to a single lady looking? Armando, we'll start with you.
There's hope.
You said there's hope.
Hope,
There's
yeah,
hope.
there's hope.
Okay.
Walker.
I would say, you know what? Just be the person you want to meet, right? I mean, do things for yourself to make yourself, available and ready. So when you find the right person, you're ready to go. So it just
I love that.
do some self-work, be happy. Being single is not a bad thing. It's a great time to have fun and to get to know yourself better and to, hone those, traits that will make you a better partner. So do that.
I do have
I
something
love
to say.
that.
See,
have
now
something to
Armando's
say.
light bulb.
And I thought about this earlier, but I think and I'm generalizing, but I think it's something that a lot of women share. So my statement is, believe what you see, not what you hear. I don't know if that makes
Can you
any
say
sense.
more about that?
Well,
No,
In the
absolutely.
realm of
It's like
dating.
actions speak louder than words.
exactly. So like when you see a guy do whatever he's doing is who he is, and that's period. What he's, because men like to talk, and I'm sorry for throwing guys under the bus right now, but listen, people say stuff all the time.
Mhm.
And a lot of the time women get trapped in that, right?
Mhm.
And not only that, but that allows them to start fantasizing about things,
Mhm.
right? And they get lost in the fantasy and they start believing what they're fantasizing about and not what they're seeing. You know what I mean? So believe what you see,
Got it.
not what you hear, and not what you see in your mind.
We
You
do
know
it.
what I
That's
mean?
great.
Humans do what they want to do. So,
Yeah.
they're
Well, yeah.
doing it's not good for a reason. Everyone's busy. Everyone has stuff happening. There's plenty of excuses. But if you really want to do it, you do it.
Yes,
Yeah.
I love that. You guys have been so awesome.
Thanks for
This
having
was
us,
such a
guys.
fun episode. Thank you
Good
so
stuff.
much. So if anyone's interested in getting to know more about you both, where can they find you? Walker, you go first. Say your Instagram or where they can find you.
My name, all my socials, just my name, Walker Posey, WALKER POSEY. Instagram.
All right.
Armando.
Yeah, me Instagram pretty much at Simply Armando. That's pretty much where you can find me.
And we love it. Well, thank you so much for being so candid on this episode and just like opening up and having fun with us. This is really great. If you guys are listening, make sure that you follow us on Instagram and subscribe to our YouTube channel and get this visual, okay? We're bringing you some beautiful visuals today. So you know you want to see that.
Hotties.
And come back next week. All right.
Thanks, guys. See you later.
Thank you
See you
guys.
Guys,
You guys were
thank you
awesome.
guys.
Thank you so much.
amazing.
Eu